My older brother, 30, went to university and then worked in the city as an accountant. I, 27, stated to work for my dad as a plumber at 15 and went to college to get my qualifications in plumbing and gas. About the time COVID started, my brother moved back from the city and started working for my dad, 55, in accounting. My dad has been unwell for the last 4 years due to asbestosis. It has been really hard on the family and he is getting worse, but is still loving life. I have been running the business for the last 2 years. We have expanded and now have 50 vans in the fleet and 1 qualified and 1 trainee allocated to each van. COVID was hard in the beginning, but we have bounced back. My dad still works on tools with me on Fridays, half day, then back to my place for some beers. Friday is the only day I'm on tools now, as I'm doing everything to run the business. Well, last month he told the family he is stepping down from the business due to health and wants to spend more time with my mother and is giving the business to my brother and for me to step down from acting CEO. This upset me. I've been with the business for 12 years. At the beginning it was only me and my dad. My brother never wanted to be in the business, said it was not worth his time, and now he's the boss and I've been dumped back to a heating engineer with a £20,000 pay cut. He doesn't have any clue what we do or how to do it. I spoke to my dad and he told me that my brother deserved it for all he has done, that he has a family and I don't, and that he went to uni. A lot of the workers are upset about the decision and have told me they will go where I go. I told my dad that if that is how he feels, then I will leave and start my own business. I have not spoken to my dad or brother since and have told them to never contact me. For the last month I've had thousands of calls and messages from family saying some very hurtful things and telling me I'm ungrateful for what I have. So am I the idiot? It sounds unfair, but this is more of an opportunity than it is anything else. You get to start a business on your own. I would say that starting a successful business is harder than inheriting one, so if you can accomplish it, you deserve more credit and respect. Your dad gets to choose whoever he wants to succeed him. But you don't have to choose to stay. However, stay classy about it. Let everyone know you're leaving, but don't try to convince anyone to come with you. Same with your clients. You don't want that bad blood. Not the idiot. It's really too bad that your dad is so old-fashioned. Between your brother and you, the business could have soared. Now, your brother will run it into the ground and you will have to put in a lot of hours to keep things going in your new business. You will have the added burden of family tearing you down. You deserve the business, OP, and don't let anyone tell you that you don't. Having a family doesn't dictate who should get a business. Heck, one of the employees right now probably needs the money more than your brother. I'm sorry, friend. Just one cautionary note, and that is to not outright solicit the clients or employees from your dad's business. Let them come to you. Let them find you because you are good at your job, not because you stole them. Because that's what your family will say you did, and that will just make things so very much worse. Not the idiot, and do your best not to make a sad situation worse. Have a neutral story for your clients, so you aren't slagging family out in the community. I visited the shelter because I was feeling low and cats are awesome, so I thought I'd volunteer and maybe get some cat therapy. So I went down with my best friend and boyfriend and we played with kittens and old cats. Favorite Gala name was Granny and she was so moody. I loved it. I saw my now cat Zuzu. I didn't go up to her at first because I knew I'd fall in love with her. So my foresight didn't save me and I learned she had been abandoned since late Jan 2019. It was then May, so she had been there for 5 months. I spoke with the manager and he said he'd phone the owner and see if they'd get back to him, and he told me to wait a week. So I did. I confirmed payment on her shots and snips and waited another 3 days for the owner to contact back. They never did. So it's now and about month in and I post a pic of her on social media. The owner is a distant acquaintance, a friend of a friend kind of thing. It's a small town. She sends me a direct message and claimed ownership. I explained the situation as well as the attempts at contact, and she called crap. She never addressed the abandonment and bowed when I firmly stated that the cat was now in my care and I would provide her with a lovely home. She hasn't responded yet and I did apologize to her in the messages. It's weird, I know where she lives and works, it's one of the nice bars in town. She's a sweet person, but I just feel bad. I understand cat love. I understand bonds, but how can you leave a kitten in a shelter for 5 months? How long is that, even in cat time? I'm conflicted, but feel like I'm doing the right thing. I thought very long about bringing a cat into my home and even got the support of my housemates and close friends. I gathered supplies and made what I couldn't afford. I love that fluffy stink ball, but how do I manage this relationship in a small town? Do I ignore it? I just don't know how not to be the idiot here. Not the idiot. If she didn't even bother checking the animal shelter even once in 5 months, she clearly didn't want the cat, considering calling the animal shelter is one of the first things you do if your pet goes missing. You absolutely just ignore this woman's antics. If anyone asks, then you can tell the story. I went into the shelter, saw a cat I liked. The animal shelter tried numerous times to contact the owner to no avail, so I was able to adopt Fluffy. They're now legally my cat. Not the idiot. Cat love is a thing. I love my cat. I would never, ever leave a cat at a shelter for 5 months. If I knew my cat was there waiting for me to pick up, I would not be posting this because I'd be on my way there and wouldn't bother to hit submit before getting up and leaving. Even if you assume worst case personal issues, maybe it takes a few days or a week to get the cat. That would come with a large donation to the shelter and apologies for not coming sooner. Not the idiot. For a missing pet, assuming it ran away and wasn't purposefully abandoned, step 1 is to call animal control, and they let area shelters know there's a missing animal in case it turns up. If you don't have animal control, you call the shelters yourself. If she wanted the cat, she had 5 months to do this and chose not to. That's like 5 minutes of work for a pet you care about. So that screams to me that she doesn't care about the cat. Keep the cat, block and ignore the lady, and keep all paperwork related to the cat. Okay, so I, 17, just started my senior year of high school, generally a big year for a teenager, you know. All the schools in my district have the option of either being online schooled for free or going into school, also for free. Originally my parents were gonna homeschool my siblings, 10 and 14, and send me to school, with it being my senior year and all, they didn't want me to miss out. I was so excited, my friends and I were going to take super obnoxious senior season pictures and take pictures in matching masks for the first day of school. One day I'm out with my friends, we went out to the park and were socially distant, and I come home, and my sister has locked herself in her room and is hysterical. For backstory, my sister is the middle child and has always been the center of attention and keeps my parents wrapped around her finger. I ask my brother what happened, and he explains that she is furious due to the fact that I get to go to school and she doesn't, and it was basically a screaming match the entire time I was gone. The next day my parents out of nowhere decide that they want to online school me. They didn't give me any reason other than it's just the best option for us as a family. No one in our family is high risk, and we don't really interact with the older members of our family, due to most of them living hours away, so I am forced to give up my senior year with friends and my final year of marching band. My mom last night finally confessed to me that my sister is the reason for all this. They would rather pull me out of school and extracurriculars than deal with my sister's meltdowns. But here's the cherry on top. My mom doesn't want me bringing this up to my sister at all because she doesn't want it to hurt her feelings or make her feel like I hate her. I have been online schooled before, it destroyed my mental health, it wrecked my grades, and destroyed some of my friendships, and she knows this. And on top of all this, she has treated me like crap for the past month and is repeatedly making me feel terrible about myself. So, would I be the idiot if I brought it up to her, or am I the idiot for being upset about this whole situation? Everyone's the idiot here. Your parents aren't being fair to you, and I'm sorry about that, but opening up schools endangers everyone you interact with there. You might not have a risk family, but what about your teachers and the staff who have to be there to get a paycheck? And do your parents go to the store or anywhere else where they might, even briefly, interact with others? I'm honestly shocked by the amount of people being so indifferent to the serious risks the pandemic poses. Not the idiot. You have to advocate for yourself. You're not your sister's keeper. As a big sister myself, my parents' decisions that favored my sister's happiness over mine destroyed my relationship with her. You need to get loud about it. Ask if you'll get your way if you throw a temper tantrum too. You do not need to be pointlessly sacrificed for your sister's temporary happiness. What she's doing is so selfish. Bring up all of your points. 1. It's your senior year and you want those memories. 2. Your mental health is at risk. 3. Your grades will suffer. 4. It will hurt your friendships. No idiots here. I get why both your sister and you are upset and that's valid, but ultimately it's safer for everyone for none of you to go to school. I get not wanting to miss your senior year, but chances are your school is gonna be shut down within a couple of months of starting due to COVID. And even if you and your family aren't high risk, it could still easily kill or permanently disable any one of you. I can guarantee you your senior year isn't worth you or your family dying or being seriously maimed for. My son was born in 2000, and I shortly afterwards opened up an investment account with the intentions of handing it off to him after he graduated from college to give him a head start in life. Wife loved the idea. I put in $10K initially and started adding $100 monthly, and the account sits at over $60K today. A majority of it was just put into mutual funds, and some months I'd take the $100 and toss it into riskier stocks that didn't really pan out. Yes, I learned my lesson that if you're not making this a career, just toss it into funds. When our daughter was born 2 years later, I started up an account for her as well. About a year in, wife and I got drunk with friends and the topic of investing came up. Wife said something silly along the lines of anybody can invest, and it became a lengthy discussion at the beach with all our friends chiming in. In the end, wanted to take over daughter's investment account and manage it to show me how easy investing was. We discussed it at length over the following weeks and she dug her heels in, so I relented and gave her control. Long story short, that account sits at just over $16K for two reasons, because she picked bad individual stocks instead of funds, and she wasn't adding to the account at the start of the month. Well, we had a blowout fight about a week ago after I mentioned to our son that he was going to inherit a bunch of money once he graduates this spring. Naturally, our daughter wanted to know if and how much she was going to receive. I mentioned that of course I'd done the same for her, but she'd have to ask mom, as I wasn't about to be the one to set that ticking time bomb off. After wife showed the numbers, the meltdown happened, and then she told our daughter we'd just combine the accounts and split them equally. At this point I flipped a lid and explained we definitely not do that because in her everybody can invest crap. She'd insulted how difficult investing was and needed to deal with the ramifications of poor choices in investing. We've not had a meaningful discussion since, we've been cold to one another since, and our daughter is mad at us for the significantly smaller account she stands to inherit. Am I the idiot? Everyone's the idiot here. So, just to be clear on this, you're going to punish your daughter for your wife being bad at investing and to prove a point that you're better at it. Your wife screwed up, everyone knows it, which is why she is also an idiot. But let's be clear. This isn't your son's money. It's not like he gave it to you to invest on his behalf. It's all your money. What you do with it is up to you, but you are going to cause a huge split in the family if you don't find some way to share that money between both your children. You're the idiot. Your son is not automatically owed more because you invested better. You're providing for your kids and it should be equal. If the son had made the investing calls or contributed the money, he would keep the full amount. But this is just you on a power trip about how much better you are than your wife, and your poor daughter is caught in a crossfire. Also, you're just as much to blame for your wife's poor investment choices. This has been a long time coming. It would be everyone's the idiot here if we're just talking about the investment choices. Everyone's the idiot here. Allowing your wife to use your daughter's account for practice instead of setting up one just for her was questionable to begin with. Allowing her to retain control after she proved she couldn't do it at your daughter's literal expense was unconscionable. Your son shouldn't have to suffer because the two of you decided proving your respective points was more important than setting your kids up on equal footing, but you need to quit sniping at each other and find a way to make the difference up, no matter how long it takes. Me and my brother are 16 and 15, we are from a super religious family that like to push all that you will visit your dad nonsense on us, despite us not wanting to. My bro and I are really close, he is autistic but has got a lot better as he has got older. He was non-verbal as a kid and had a lot of triggers, he's verbal now and can control his triggers a lot better, anyway he still has meltdowns, but I know how to look after him and deal with him. My dad on the other hand always blew off my brother and made out that my brother could control his mental state etc. and he would call my bro Ralph Wiggum as a really mean way of calling him dumb. Anyway, all my bro eats is tomato soup and grilled cheese when his routine is disrupted, I guess it's comfort for him. I hate cooking and usually my mom makes it for my bro if we have to travel out of state or whatever, but obviously he's my brother and I'm gonna look after him. My dad refuses to help with my brother's needs because he doesn't believe in autism. So I made him his grilled cheese when my stepsister, also 15, told me to make one, no please, or thank you, for herself. I said ask nicely and I will, so she just screeched at the top of her lungs for my dad and her mom. They both came and started berating me, saying I'm the oldest and I need to care for both my siblings now and that I'm acting like a brat. Then in a weird sort of power thing they stood over me and said make her the grilled cheese. I got pissed at being told what to do, so I said no. To make things worse, my brother called her a word in front of my dad and his wife, and that got us both grounded. They took our phones away, however I have my iPad in my bag, so I'm here with that. Am I the idiot because I didn't make one for her? Not the idiot. You were trying to help your autistic brother. Your half-sister is just that half. She doesn't get to tell you what to do, and your parents need to respond better. I would start recording your dad when he gets abusive, and then show your mom. Your father is going to stunt your brother and make his triggers worsen, or new ones might start up from his lack of empathy for his child. Regardless if he believes in autism or not. It is a real diagnosis that a lot of people are affected by. Not the idiot. I actually no longer make grilled cheese if other people are home because it turns into everyone demanding I make them one because mine are so good. I literally do nothing special. The secret to good grilled cheese is using a good bread, plenty of butter or your choice of substitute, and being mindful when you cook so it doesn't burn, but the cheese still melts. The only person who wasn't my family who's had one was my boyfriend, and that's because he asked me like an adult. Good for you for standing your ground, OP, and asking people to use their manners. Not the idiot for the stance you took, however, the stance you took did inadvertently make your brother suffer. Obviously not your intention, and clearly your dad is the absolute idiot in this situation. But until you're in a position, which won't be until you and your brother are of age, and you're able to tell your dad where he can shove his ignorant beliefs, you're going to be stuck swallowing up bad situations like this. Does that make it right? Absolutely not. But keep in mind that you're doing it for your brother.